Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today, joining Smile Doctors and Scholastic on our very first live read aloud. So today we are going to read How to Catch the Tooth Fairy, and joining us is Dr. Joyce Jamerson, who is going to read aloud to us. So we're really excited to have her. We're really thankful for Scholastic and the partnership as well. Just a couple things before we get started. I would like to make sure that everybody does stay on mute. If you do have questions or comments, then you can place them in the chat and on Facebook Live. And then please just remain off camera as well. And we will get to your questions as soon as possible. So again, thank you everybody for joining us today. Again, this is Dr. Joyce Jamerson, and we are going to read How to Catch the Tooth Fairy. Dr. Jamerson, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much. So I love to read. I love snuggling up with a friend or with my kids or my dog and just enjoying a story. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined us for this read aloud. I'm glad that I get to share something I love with you all. And I have a did you know question. I like to ask questions because we ask questions to learn, right? And so I learned recently that National Tooth Fairy Day was this past Monday on August 22nd. Did you know that? Way cool, right? So it's so awesome that Smile Doctors chose this book to read for the very first Scholastic story time. Yay! And it's also a great time to remind you all of how important it is to take care of your teeth. Be sure to brush and floss so that your teeth sparkle. And so one last thing I love to learn about is authors. I love to know information about the people who write the book and the illustrators who draw the pictures or, construct the pictures out of collages or different things that they do to make the illustrations so amazing for us. And so one thing I learned about the author Adam Wallace is that he used to be an engineer. Whoa, right? And he used to be a primary school teacher. I learned that he played sports like cricket and soccer and tennis and golf and Australian football. He did this stuff in competitions. And so I got to thinking, how cool is that? That no matter what career you choose to do in life, you could also be a writer. What a great way to share your ideas and stories with others during a read aloud like this. Let's read how to find out how to catch a tooth fairy. So we're going to get some tips. We're going to get some really interesting ways that kids have come up with to catch the tooth fairy. So pay attention, pay close attention to the different traps that you will hear about, because I'd love to know at the very end of the story what your favorite trap was. All is quiet. All is still. The clock shows 3:09. The bell goes off. I'll go to work because now it's my time to shine. Oh, she's stretching out. She's getting ready. Look at that toothbrush laying over there. Wonder what she's going to do with that. Oh, looky here. What's that? Looks like a supercomputer. Look at all those different monitors. I'm the tooth fairy. Yes, I am. And every single night, I collect 300,000 teeth while staying out of sight. Do you have a computer? Do you get to see all the kids who put their teeth under their pillows? Probably not. How cool it is that she has that so that she doesn't forget anyone. My travels take me far and wide. My life is such a blast, but please don't try to catch me, for I'm really much too fast. Ooh, look at that. Looks like a comet stream, doesn't it? Like a meteorite was in this area. She must be really fast to create that kind of stream. At Nancy Caton's, I recall an important fairy rule. When you are taking someone's tooth, watch out for their drool. Oh, look at that. Here's one trap. Drool is also known as saliva, aka spit. It's one of the unsung heroes of the body. Did you know that? It helps you to taste your food better. It helps you to enjoy all the different flavors in the food. It also helps your teeth. It recoats your teeth, slowing down acid breakdown, and it protects your teeth, acting as a lubricant to keep your teeth from banging against one another or chipping or wearing down too soon. So, drool, that's the first trap. Johnny Withers sets a trap. He wants me in a box. I'll take his tooth, and then for fun, I'll hide all his socks. Oh, what trap did we see on this page? Did you see it? The fairy catcher. Look at that box. So if you have a box laying around, you might think about how you can use a box to create a tooth fairy trap. Cotton candy. Ooh, love the stuff, but I won't try to eat it. Every trap that's set for me is sure to be defeated. Look at all that cotton candy. That's a really cool trap because it's sticky, right? Did you think that kiddo thought maybe the tooth fairy might fly into one of those cotton candy traps and get stuck? Do you know what cotton candy is made out of? It's sugar. Do you know what else people call cotton candy? Fairy floss or candy floss. Did you know that? I just found that out today. That's another trap. Think about it. Was that a good trap? She got away, so let's keep reading to see what other traps are set to catch the tooth fairy. Julie has a good idea. A trap made out of floss. I'll get her tooth and then leave a coin to pay her for her loss. What a great idea. Floss. Oh my gosh, you may have some of that laying around. Probably not like silk, right? We know spiders spin webs out of silk. You might not have silk laying around, but hopefully you have some floss laying around and you could create your very own spider web. I thought this was a pretty cool trap because it would, be sticky, maybe to get the tooth fairy, but looks like it was no match for this tooth fairy. So remember this trap, the floss spider web trap. As I fly to Taylor's bed, I notice something scary. But once I've tied it all in knots, I'm feeling rather merry. What kind of trap is this? I see with my I spy eyes. That is a Venus flytrap. Did you know that? I think I can kind of figure out why this didn't catch the tooth fairy. They like to eat bugs, not tooth fairies. I also learned that they can only snap 4 or 5 times before they retire. This trap is good. I'm quite impressed. It nearly did me in, but I've got golden fairy dust. I'll never let you win. This one's kind of hard to figure out. What kind of trap was set for the tooth fairy? Zoom in. Tooth fairy review. I know what a review is. That's a theatrical presentation. It's like a play. But how in the world could a play catch the tooth fairy? Maybe the kitty cat was supposed to catch the tooth fairy. But what is this? That super fast tooth fairy got away and looks like her fairy dust made the kitty cat sneeze. Wow. I know a little bit about sneezes. They also help our bodies. They help to clear out the nose, right? To keep the bacteria and viruses from entering us. And obviously, they also help to keep out golden fairy dust. So I have a question. I want you all to help me. If you could write in the chat or in the Facebook Live feed, which animal do you think is the sneeziest? If you had to guess, which animal in the whole wide world do you think is the sneeziest? Go ahead and put something in the chat. Do we have any guesses? Anyone on the call can write into the chat. Just go ahead and type in an animal that you think sneezes a lot.
A cat, a dog.
A cat. We see here, look at that, a dog. I have heard my Tucker sneeze. Clifford, do you sneeze? Achoo! I bet he does. Well, I'm going to tell you in just a few seconds the name of an animal that is the sneeziest. I see something in the chat. Someone says a hamster. What a great idea. It could be a hamster. So let me tell you what I found out from doing some research. It's an iguana. An iguana is the sneeziest animal of all. Sneezing is how they get rid of their bodies of certain salts that's used in their digestive process. Did you know that? How cool. Let's get back to the trap setting. The ooey gooey catapult fires marshmallow yum. It doesn't catch me, but it does just slightly stick to my bone. Look at that contraption. That's pretty complicated. That kiddo worked really hard to try to catch the tooth fairy using sticky stuff. I think about gum when I think about that. That would have been a great idea. The lights are off in Sarah's room and traps are everywhere. I'll need to do my very best to fly safe out of there. Look at that. Imagine the tooth fairy went into the room and it was dark. Tooth fairy couldn't see anything because what? It was dark. But what did she use? Let's zoom in. What does she see? Those look like mouse traps. She used her light up goggles. Look at that. Click. The author even helped us. Click gave us a clue of how she made those work to see in the darkness. This is a pretty smart tooth fairy. Let's keep going. Now, Sanjeev is creative. He's made a special cage. Am I no more? Is this the end? You'd better turn the page. Well, before I turn the page, we got to talk about what Sanjeev has done with this trap. I'm looking at this trap and I'm thinking, this reminds me of a game I used to play that was created in the 60s. Maybe some of our parents might know the game. It's called Mousetrap. Have you ever heard of that? Mousetrap. And if you're a part of a STEM club, you know, science, technology, engineering, art, and math, you may have heard of the name Rube Goldberg. If you create a Rube Goldberg machine, it's a chain reaction machine where one thing triggers the next thing and so on to complete a simple task. So I want you to look at the picture, can you see where this machine would start? And take your eyes and look at all the different devices and tools that were put together to lead to how the tooth fairy got caught in this cage. Let me use my magnifying lens. Can you see? Look at that. The string is tied to his finger. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Then it's woven around that. Then it comes down here. That is way cool. I wonder if you could create a Rube Goldberg machine. I bet you could. It looks like our tooth fairy is finally trapped. But she said you better turn the page. So let's find out what happens next. Oh my gosh, looky here. She is so clever. Look at that dust. She's fast. Zoom. Look at the cage. Oh my gosh, she's had some help. How cool is that? I wonder if this is the same mouse that was in the other trap with the review. You think maybe he caught a ride with her on her handy dandy toothbrush and helped her get out? Who knows? There's no words. The author didn't tell us. So guess what? You get to guess. You get to make a prediction of how she got out of this, or an inference, right? Use the pictures and the information we have to make a guess about how she got out. She's pretty clever. She did some really, really good work in getting out of all of those traps. Then at last, I'm home again. The teeth are safe and sound. The kid who'll catch me in a trap is still yet to be found. Wow, look at her home. I thought that was pretty cool too. It's shaped like what? A tooth. How cool is that? Look at her friend. I got to bring my friend back. Clifford loves stories. So what I'd love to do is find out if you think you could catch a tooth fairy. Could you catch a tooth fairy? What kind of trap would you come up with? What kind of trap would you come up with? Go ahead and share it in the chat. Can you think of something else that would be able to make the tooth fairy stick? Or something that you could put on top of the tooth fairy? Or something that could eat the tooth fairy, or just catch her and hold on to her until you got to release her? Let's see. I see some messages in the chat. Tape. What a great idea. You could use tape. That's pretty sticky. Someone said glue. Maybe like Elmer's glue, or there's some really sticky glue, right? You could use different types of glue, wood glue. You could think about researching different types of glue you could use to catch the tooth fairy. Oh, someone else said fly paper. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? Fly paper. It works for flies. Maybe it would work for the tooth fairy. Someone else just said slime. Oh, Clifford, what do you think about that? Would slime work? He says yes, slime is a great idea. Do you have anything else that I didn't see in maybe our Facebook feed or chat? Okay, if there's no other comments, I want you to think about your favorite tooth fairy trap. Was it Nancy's drool? Right? It could have been the drool. Let's take a look. We have a little time to play. It could have been her drool. Or maybe it was the box, Johnny's box. Was that your favorite? Or what about the cotton candy? Was that your favorite trap? How about the floss spider web? Or was your favorite trap the Venus flytrap? I really like the Tooth Fairy review. I like being on stage and ta-da, ta-da, dancing or singing or acting. So this is probably my favorite. Was this your favorite? What about the Marshy Mallow Yum? Was your favorite the mouse traps? And any of you that may have joined in later, you get to see all the different ways to catch a tooth fairy. Was it mouse traps hanging from the ceiling in the dark? Or was it the really complex, really intricate Rube Goldberg machine that Sanjeev created? Was that your favorite? Well, there's so many questions that you can ask your parents or caregivers after this story is over. I'd love for you to keep being curious. Ask questions about ways to catch a tooth fairy. And then there's one last thing before we close. Adam Wallace has a series of books. Did you know that authors can write a book and then they can take that book and create a parody or a book that's just like the first book and change it? Kind of like If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Have you read that series? That's a pretty cool series by Laura Newmark, right? So How to Catch a Tooth Fairy, How to Catch a Unicorn, How to Catch a Monster, How to Catch a Dinosaur, How to Catch the Easter Bunny, How to Catch a Mermaid, How to Catch a Snowman, and How to Catch a Leprechaun. I even heard that he has a book called How to Catch a Yeti. That seems pretty cool. My husband would really love to read that story. So what I'd love to hear from you before we close is, what would you like to catch? Take a moment and think about it, because I want you all to consider being a writer. And you don't have to wait till you grow up. You can be a writer today. You may already be a writer. How to catch a blank. And if Adam Wallace watches this video, he might take your idea and use it in the next book. How to catch a... What if he teamed up and wrote How to Catch Clifford? That's my idea. What's your idea? Let's look in the chat. How to catch... Oh, that's a good idea. Oh my gosh, how cool. I used to catch these when I was little all the time, but some would get away. So I'd love to hear some ideas. Lightning bug. How to catch a lightning bug. So cool. Thank you for sharing. Any other ideas out there? How to catch. Well, you know what? You don't have to come up with all the ideas at one time. We have more stories that are going to be coming up. So you got time to think about it. Someone says you catch a lightning bug in a mason jar. That's exactly how I stored my lightning bugs, right? I caught them and I didn't squeeze too tight because I didn't want to kill them, or I didn't want them to die. So I took them and then I placed them inside the mason jar. I actually went to school at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, where Ball Factory creates mason jars. So many connections you can make when you share your stories with other people. So thank you so much for joining me for Storytime. Storytime with Scholastic, Storytime with Smile Doctors. I hope you're a rising star. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Smile Doctors.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's virtually give it up for Dr. Joyce Jamerson, reading How to Catch the Tooth Fairy. Yay! So exciting. Please do not forget that we do have another live read aloud session on Thursday, September 29th at the same time. So 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, September 29th, with Mr. Jimmy, who will be reading My Toothbrush is Missing. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give it up again for Dr. Joyce Jamerson and Scholastic. And thank you, Allison, for joining us. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time.